everybody! It's another at-home art lesson with Mrs. Schultz. Today we're going to learn how to make an origami paper crane. And the awesome thing about this is all you need is a piece of square paper. Square paper is kind of like a strange size or shape of paper to have. So I'm going to teach you how to make a square out of a rectangular piece of paper like a printer paper or paper that you rip out of a notebook first. And then I'm going to teach you how to make a crane using that paper. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to flip my camera around and we're going to get started. So just go grab a piece of paper and let's do it. All right, my friends, we're going to be making this origami crane. This origami crane that you are seeing is, it's made out of origami paper, but you can do it with any paper. I'm going to use origami paper to show you because it has two different colors. That way I can kind of show you the folds better, but you can use any paper that you have. So the only thing that you really need to have is a square piece of paper. You might have notebook paper at home. That is not a square, that's a rectangle. So in order to make it a square, what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold a triangle. So this is the edge, let's call this the side and this the bottom. I'm gonna take the bottom and I'm gonna fold it over to match up perfectly with the side. And then the extra up here is what I need to cut off. So I'm going to cut that little rectangle off of there so that I have, when I open it up, a perfect square. So that is what we're going to work with. I am actually, like I said, going to use a piece of origami paper because I happen to have some, but it's totally not necessary. The only thing that it needs to be is a square. And the thinner the paper, the better. It makes it a little easier to fold. I'm going to use this blue paper because it has a blue side and a white side, and it's a little easier for you to see what I'm doing with my folds. So the first step of making an origami crane is to get your paper folded in half. Now, if you do happen to have two sides, like one color on one side and one color on another side like I do, you will want whatever color you want your crane to be. That's the side that you're going to fold on the outside. So the inside's white, the outside's blue. But if you have a notebook piece of paper, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so after you fold it in half, you open it up and you're going to fold it in half the other way. The key to having really good origami is really nice folds, and to make sure that your corners line up as best you can. It makes your origami much easier. And then you're going to open it up and you're going to fold a diagonal like this. And then you're going to open it up and you're going to fold a diagonal like this. So what you're going to end up having is a piece of paper that is a square, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 triangles, and they all meet in the middle. All right, the next step is kind of what I think is the trickiest step. What you're going to do is pick it up and you're going to fold your two opposite corners together. Oops, like this. And I don't fold it tight. I want to leave these little pockets here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push that little pocket in so that the point goes up there in the top. And then you're just going to fold back your little flaps. It's really important to know that you're not making any new folds here. You're folding on the folds that are already on your paper. So I'm doing the same thing. So I have my middle up here and I'm pushing the side over to the center there. And then I'm gonna keep it folding on the same folds that I already have and fold that little pocket over. So then I have kind of like an open end and a closed end. Okay, now the next part, it's important that you have the closed end at the top and the open end at the bottom. What you're going to do next is we're going to take this corner and see this edge right here. You're going to make that edge meet up with that center folded line right there. So I'm going to fold it over like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And what we're doing, it kind of, to me, looks like a kite. Do you see the little kite shape on top? Okay. Then you're going to flip the whole thing over, keeping it in its same closed end at the top, open end at the bottom. You can tell it's open because you can open it up like that. And you're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold our edge over, and we're going to fold our edge over, and it makes a kite on this side too. Kite, kite. Now, doesn't matter which side you have up. The next step is pretty easy. You're just going to fold the top down. I call that the envelope fold. I'm not sure what it's really called, but that's because it's like the top of an envelope folding down. And then you open it up, and you flip it over, and you fold the envelope down again because it makes a nice crease right there, and that's very important for the next step. All right, then we're going to open up that little envelope fold, and we're going to open up one of our kite flaps and open up another one of our kite flaps, and we have our diamond back, but we have these nice creases there. We're going to use those creases for what I call the baby bird. All right, so what you're going to do is you remember how we have little flaps down there? You're going to take the top part and you're going to open it up like a little baby bird's mouth. Do you see how it's calling for its mommy? Okay. And you're going to open that up and you're going to keep that fold right here, the envelope fold, and push those sides down. But we're not making any new folds again. We're just folding on the same folds that we already had. So you just kind of need to straighten out your paper a little bit so that you have a nice big diamond. I'm going to show you how to do that again because we're going to do it on the other side. So what you need to do now is just flip the whole thing over, and your envelope is already opened, and then you're going to flip open a kite fold, flip open a kite fold, and then you're going to see that baby bird again. It wants its food, its little worms, and you're going to fold over the sides, not making any new folds, just folding on the folds I already have and kind of straightening it out a little bit so that I have a nice big flat diamond. Okay, it's pretty easy from here on out, so let's go to the next step. All right, now what you're going to do, we're going to do something that we've already done, but we're just doing it to a different step. So this point and this edge down here, we're going to fold it over, kind of like we did that kite fold. So we're going to make like a skinny part right there. Here's what I tell kids when I'm teaching them in school. You know that you're holding it, you have it on your table correctly if the bottom has legs, but the top doesn't, okay? So there's legs. And what you're going to do is you're going to take one of those legs and you're going to fold it over and make it a really skinny leg, like a bird leg. So then I'm going to take the leg on this side and I'm going to fold it over. It's important for me to tell you too, this is not actually going to be a leg. All right, I just call them skinny legs because it makes more sense to me. So I still have legs, but the legs on this side are skinnier. Then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the same thing. Here's my point. Here's the edge I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold that edge over to make it meet the center line and do that kite fold again. And then I'm going to fold this edge over and I'm going to make that kite fold again. Make them nice and pointy at the bottom. And I still have skinny legs, you guys. It's kind of important. Okay. Now the next step is, if you look at this side, I've got two little flaps. If you look at this side, I've got two little flaps. I'm going to take a flap from the right and I'm going to flip it. So now I have 3 flaps here and 1 flap here. So I'm going to turn the whole thing over and I'm going to flip it. Now really quickly pay attention to this part. I'm going to undo what I just did. This is what I had before. Notice I've got legs and it kind of makes like a diamond up here. What I'm going to do when I flip it and then turn the whole thing over and flip just 1 flap, now I say, okay, I've got 2 ears up here and a mouth down here. It's kind of like a fox face, right? Like a fox face opening its mouth here. All right, and that's important because the next step is to open the fox's mouth and stick the point up at the top and then turn the whole thing over. I've got my fox again. I'm gonna take that point to the top. Now I've got 2 skinny diamonds, or I'm sorry, 2 skinny triangles. Okay, I've got 2 skinny triangles on this side and 2 skinny triangles on this side. They're connected, but they look like two separate triangles. Okay, the next part is I have two flaps on this side, and I have two flaps on this side. I'm gonna take this flap, and I'm gonna flip the flap. And then I'm gonna, see I have three flaps on this side now, and only one flap on this side. Now I'm gonna turn the whole thing over and flip the flap. And now I've got like a diamond shape. You see it with these two little flaps at the bottom. All right, now what we are going to do is you're going to reach inside. There's 4 points at the top. You're going to reach inside and you're going to pull one of the points on the inside out and fold it down. And then you're going to reach in and pull the other point from the inside out. And then you're going to carefully take these two and pull them. And you have a paper crane. Sometimes people like to fold these little wings down. Sometimes people like to push this part down to make it a little bit flatter. You can make its body kind of pop out like that. And you are all done. You are officially a paper crane maker. And the handy thing about this is if you make a whole bunch of them, they actually, if you fold them kind of back like this, they all nest inside of each other like that. All right, you guys, there's your origami paper crane. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned it. All right, I hope you had good luck. It's a little bit frustrating to learn how to do that the first time, but once you get it, you'll be making them in your sleep. I make them all over the place. I make them at restaurants, and I make them like when I go out with junk mail and with all sorts of stuff. I just like to keep my fingers busy. So I hope you have some paper and you get to try this origami crane. Just a little tip for you and your parents who are probably watching. If my instructions didn't make a lot of sense, I am also going to put a paper, like a link to the instructions that I use, the paper instructions. It's just a one-sheet thing, in case that would help. Or there are lots and lots and lots of YouTube videos and other videos out there that might tell you the same directions, but in a little bit of a different way that might make a little bit more sense. The way I teach it is how I learned it, and it's how it's easy for me to teach it. I hope you understood the way that I did it, but if not, do a little bit of research and keep trying because you can get it, I promise. Until next time, have an amazing week. Have great memories with your families, and I will see you soon.